Hey guys, and we're back with Brad's card on the suicide swap. So, since we're not running a timing cover and we really don't need one, I put it on a regular single cam head. I lined the top dead center mark up, and I made a little dot right here so I know where top dead center is. On the top and the bottom is easy. Either if you can check the bottom mark, or you can put a your dipstick inside cylinder number 1, piston hole or whatever you want to call it. Spark plug hole. And whenever the piston comes to the top and doesn't, like when it starts to go back down, you want to make it to where it's exactly at the top, and that's top dead center. But I'll just use the point on the bottom. So Brad's putting the valve cover back on right now, and I'm over here with the throttle body. It says to do it, you have to swap one sensor up because a dual cam sensor comes out and it hits the intake, so you gotta take this single cam sensor, put it on there like that, which goes straight up. Not too bad. So yeah, all you need to do that is an 8mm. You're gonna take it, pop these two little screws off. You could use an Allen key if you wanted to. My flash ain't on right now, so you can't see shit. You can kind of see it, but we're gonna turn the flash on when we get back. But we're gonna change this sensor out, and I'll be back. So see y'all on that. Alright guys, so we got that sensor installed. You can see how it clears the intake now. The other one was just bashing to the side of the intake. So that's on there. We had to trim a little bit off of the actual sensor itself. It had two little tabs that slid on the sides right here. On each side, I just trimmed them off with a razor blade. Not too big, didn't take from anything. So like I said, we got the timing mark right here. We put a cam bolt in there just for now. You gotta make sure you tighten that down real good. Next we're going to install the tensioner pulley, which goes right here, bolts it down right there. Then we'll put our tensioner on here, which you gotta put in a vise and squeeze it flat. Put a little Allen key through it just to hold it tight. And then we can time this bitch and fire it up for the first time and see if she runs good. First we gotta put some injectors in it. So we'll try to pull the injector rail off of there, and if the rail is different, because I can't 100% remember if the single cam and dual cam rails are the same, but if they're not, we'll just pop the injectors out and stick it in a different rail and just save that rail for another time. I got plenty of single cam rails anyways. Other than that, our coil pack and a bunch of little knickknacks and a radiator, and we'll be done this fucking son of a bitch. So we'll update you guys. See you guys in a little while. Guys, and we're back. So he got the tensioner pulley on there. So here's the actual tensioner. First gens, 2.0s and 2.0 single cam and dual cam come with this kind of a tensioner. 2.4 is a mechanical tensioner, which looks kind of like, there's actually a couple different kinds. Here's one kind like this, but normally, they have an Allen key that goes in there and you spin it around. The mechanicals, there's a couple different kinds, but Brad's takes a hydraulic tensioner. So you see this little hole, we have to push this down with a vise we have right here. We'll stick it in there like this, and you want to do it with the words pointing up. And then first, before you do that, you're going to want to find yourself something that'll fit down this hole. Normally I just use an Allen head or Allen key or hex key, whatever you want to call these things. I'm calling them Allen keys, so nobody hate down in the comments. So we can find the one that fits. So we found one that fits. It's really snug and tight, so there's less chances of it bending. And the reason I use an Allen key, I like the Allen key, is because it has this little thing on here that you can just tug on and it'll pull it out easier. So before the Allen key comes into place, you stick it in the vise. So we'll have Brad come over here and wind this vise all the way open, and then we'll stick this in there and tighten it down until the holes line up. We'll slide our Allen key in, and then we'll loosen the vise up and take it over and put it on our car. So we'll have Brad unwind this, and once he gets it unwind, we'll be back. My vise isn't bolted down, so there's going to be a little bit extra work for him. Let me move this fucking fan out of my way. I know my fans are all over the place, but the ones in my garage are annoying. That was a comedy. That was comedy. Alright, tighten her down. So you always want to keep the letters pointing up and as high on the vise as you can get it.
Can you kind of hold it?
I could try. It's going to take a little work. Yeah, so we're not going to record this whole process. We'll be back. Guys, as you can see, we got the Allen key through there. And we have pointing through this side just a little bit. Now you can loosen the vise. And pull your tensioner out. Now you have a tensioner ready to go in the motor. You don't want to keep it like this for too long, especially if you have a weak Allen key that looks like it's going to start bending. I think this one's okay, but I'm going to just leave it in the vise anyway, just so it doesn't put all that tension on my Allen key and bend the shit out of it. But that's how you tension your tensioner. So I'm going to go get the rest of the timing ready, and when I'm ready for this tensioner, we'll stick it on there. So guys, so now for timing on the single cam, you see this notch, there's no special timing like a 2/4, so this is the same as all single cams. So where's that notch at? I just saw it.
Right there. Right here.
Okay, so yeah, there's a notch right here. Can y'all see that? Focus. Right. See, there's a little notch there. I think there's one in there too. Yeah, see that one in there? That's the easy way to find this notch. So you're going to want to take that notch and line it up with this line right here that I made on the valve cover. Normally there will be a plastic cover here that covers the timing belt, but I've never ran one, so you don't need it. Plus we don't have one for the single cam. So you're going to put your ratchet on there, and you guys want to make sure you tighten this fucking cam bolt as tight as you can get it, because you will break dowel pins off if you don't. We're going to line that one up first. To take your ratchet, put it on there, and slowly turn it over to there. Probably gonna take you 1 or 2 tries, unless you got it first try.
Jumped really close.
Yeah, it looked like it was good.
I think right there is good. Maybe.
So the top of this, I want to say just a little bit further back. That should be perfect. Alright, so that's going to end up with that. And now we're going to line the bottom one up like we normally do. First you want to clean that gear off, because there's a bunch of nasty grease on there that you were cleaning off of everything. But when you do the bottom one on this, you're going to want to do like a tooth behind the arrow, because when you turn the tensioner, it's going to turn the bottom gear just a tad bit, which then will line it up top dead center perfectly. So this one's top dead. We're going to do that one a tooth off down there. Then we got to find a belt, so we got the belt in there, but clean that gear off. We'll be back. And we are back. So we're getting the timing belt put in there. Now we're going to do the bottom pulley. First, let me pull this belt back out of the way, even though it's just a pain in the dick to get in there. So there's a timing mark right there. So you see that arrow, you want to get that arrow lined up with that arrow. But like where this rib is, I'll put an arrow, and you want it like right there, because you'll see that arrow is just a hair off from that rib. Wow, we can't see that arrow at all. Let me see if I can get better. Oh, there you go, now you can see the arrow. So we're gonna jack that thing off until it gets around to there, and we'll be back. Okay guys, you see what I mean? Focus, fucker. Arrow, right before that arrow, bam. Tighten this up, pushes that forward a little bit. Bing the bada bang. Let me get the belt on there and I'll be back. So the belt pattern will go around the bottom crank, around the water pump, over the cam gear, down around this pulley, and back into there. For some reason I thought, see, dual cams have an extra idle pulley right here, which is what broke on my car. But yeah, we'll be back. Guys, so we got the belt looped around, top dead center up here, top dead center down there. Now we got the tensioner, the hydraulic pulley on there, which bolts onto these 2 bolts right here. And now, there's something in there. That'll be okay. But now we're going to take a pry bar, stick it in this little gap right here, and push this tensioner up as tight as we can get it. And then we'll remove the Allen key. So I'm gonna put a prop underneath here and prep as hard as I can get it, and hopefully bomb that out and then tighten her down. And we're gonna stick some spark plugs in here, coil and injectors, and fire her up and make sure she runs before we stick the rest of it together. So see you in a little bit. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see, but can you see how that line lined itself back up? See top dead center, follow that rib, all the way lined up with the arrow. Perfect. Perfect. So we got perfect time, I mean. So, that's how you time a single cam. Pretty cool little belt. Bought this thing a long time ago. Got rid of my single cam before I could even put it on. So yeah. Now we got a race belt, race exhaust, race setup, ported head. Now we gotta stick a spark plugs in there, a coil, and injectors and a rail and a fuel line to the rail, and we can fire it up and make sure she runs before we go any farther. Like putting all this fucking motor mount shit on. But that shouldn't take long, so we'll be back once we get that finished. Looks sick. Alright guys, so now we got our spark plugs in there. We're gonna tighten them down real quick. Go get your coil out of the trunk, the thing that goes right here. And once we get those tightened down, the coil one, we'll be back. Alright guys, so we had to switch the fuel rail, the dual cam. We couldn't just use the actual dual cam rail because if you see, these bolt holes are just a little bit closer together than the single cam one. You see how they're so separate. So all we're doing is swapping the injectors over. There's just these little C-clips right here. You push those off, pull your injector out, and slide in the new rail, put your C-clip back on. So we're on number 3 now, and we're gonna let Brad do the next 2. So trade me the ratchet. So go ahead and stick both the injectors in there. Do it the same direction I did. So the plug, everything the same. Slide in there real slow and easy. Take your time. Like twist a little bit as you put it in. Back and forth. Yep. You're getting it. Yeah, just line up that line. Right, that's good. See how the line lines up with the other? With the bottom up? You're gonna probably pull it down a little bit anyways when you put the clip on there. That's it. There you go. You want to put a little oil on these things too whenever you do put them in, especially if they're dry brand new, but we just pulled them out, so fuck it. Alright, now you're going to slide your little C-clip on just like I did. Yep. Cool. Next one. Probably pull that one out a little bit. Yep, that's good. See what I mean by you probably have to pull it out a little bit, but you got it. I see it sliding in. See? Cool, perfect. And now, see, that's a little dry, but I would like to get some oil on this. Try to get some oil off of, I don't know, probably dip your finger. We'll find some oil and we'll be back. Pull like 2 fingers to pull the oil off with both fingers and wipe it around both, all 3 of the O-rings. I did one already. Get them nice and lubed up.
Just the whole thing?
Yeah, lube the whole O-ring up. Like I did all the way around it. The other 2. Probably have to redo that first one.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. As long as it has a little oil on it. And now we're going to go stick it in the rail. So let's go do that because I only got a little bit of time left. Alright, now we're going to slide them down in those holes.
Like this?
Yep. And let's press at the same time.
Huh?
You press on both outsides like you were. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Cool. Now put these bolts in there. I don't know why I took a leap of faith. Feels like the injectors are a little long. If they are, we'll just make a little plate under there. Just snug it for now. Don't smash it down flat. Get one thread or two threads, will be fine. Alright, so we'll be back. Guys, we're back. So we got the cam sensor on, cam magnet in. Now we're plugging the cam sensor up. Maybe if I can get that enough fucking tension off of it. Like it. Alright, now we're good on that. We got the cruise control and the auto training and the throttle body all hooked up. So that's all good and works again. If we want to keep our cruise control, soon we're going to be putting the battery back in here. That should get out there. We almost got our time to fire up. Oh, you can plug these in. They go in the order basically right where they're at, yeah. Until you hear it click. Bam. Alright, after we get that hooked up, we'll plug this in. We got the map hooked up, we got the injectors hooked up, we gotta extend our coolant temp over here, hook us a coolant line in. We got the timing hooked up. About ready to fire up and listen to our run. So, yeah, we'll try to finish this up real quick. And then we'll be back. Alright guys, so we got everything hooked up that needs to be hooked up. We didn't do the coolant temp sensor yet because it's late and I don't feel like working anymore tonight. So right now I just want to hear it fire up. So here's first start of the suicide swap. Come hold it before you do all that crunchy crunch. Stand like right here. Let me turn this light off because it's too bright here. Make sure nothing falls in there.
Alright.
EGRs and this is a lot of stuff again. Let me just find something to stick in there real quick. Pause it real fast. Alright. Right now we're priming the fuel pump.
Priming the fuel pump. Hey!
Alright, we had to bleed some air out of it. Hear that leak is this PCR. Sounds decent. I don't want to burn my fingers. Again. Pause that and get the big guys. So you heard it run. We're gonna finish by putting the motor mount on and tighten the motor mount down. We're gonna be finished for the night. Then we'll finish all those little knickknacks up, like mounting the power steering, filling it with the antifreeze, putting this radiator in, hooking training lines up, hooking the intake back up. We got everything that pretty much needs to be done. We're going to make a separate video for you guys on how to make an EGR delete for your intake manifold and your head. That's going to be a separate video because we had to make an EGR delete for this one. But besides that, we will update you at the end just to show you that we got all the timing done. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, put them down in the comment section. And hit the subscribe button if you're subscribed. And stay tuned for the first drive of this car being finished. And a nice startup of it actually running without an EGR leak or an exhaust leak. What you heard was an EGR leaking and the exhaust leaking. And I think the EGR that I made a long time ago on the intake might be leaking too. Because that's why I had a little less throttle response. I mean, it had more throttle response, but delayed. But yeah, so I'll show you guys a last end picture of all the timing done, but we're gonna hurry up and get this shit done because it's like 2:20 or something like that. So, and then we also gotta extend this wiring, but we're gonna do that tomorrow, along with the power steering and everything. So, see you guys. Peace. Alright, guys. So like I said,